Alright guys, I'm just going to make a little tutorial video to show you guys how to put on some vinyl stickers on your goalie mask. I have for my own mask here a logo and a few stripes, just something pretty basic. So really the only tools you're going to need are a brand new razor blade or X-Acto knife, and possibly a pair of scissors and a hair dryer when you get done. So start off with the logo actually. Just gonna, first thing you want to do, this is pretty much for any piece of vinyl that you lay down, you're going to want to take only half of the backing off, half or maybe even a little bit less, and that way you're able to position it wherever you like. So let's see, I think I may go right about there. Let's see, right about there. Just make sure you start from one edge and kind of smooth it out. Go to the other side. You still have half the backing on there, so what you can do is then pull it over and take off the other side of the backing, and then just carefully continue to smooth it out all the way across, making sure there's no bubbles. Nice thing about vinyl too is if you mess up a little bit, you can just pull it right back and keep going. Just be very careful. There's no need to rush. Can even pull it back up a little bit. Nice and easy. And stretch it if needed. This one's not wanting to cooperate a whole lot. And there we go. Got a nice logo on there. So what we can do now is take the razor blade. The reason I say it needs to be new is so it's nice and sharp. Find just a little bit of pressure. You don't want to cut into your mask. It won't hurt if you make a little scratch on it, but just a little cut around the edges there. So you're not actually cutting the mask, you're just cutting through the vinyl, and you can peel it off right like that. I'm just going to clean up the edges a little bit more. Pull these off. And there you go. So what we can do now is, I still have those vent holes on the back side that are getting covered up now. So what I can do is take the razor blade, find the vent holes, and just go ahead and cut into them. Find out where you're at. Like maybe an X, or, and then once you're there, put it at just a small angle and cut around. Cut around the vent holes just like that. It's a little bit easier on round vent holes. These triangles are a little bit tricky. And this was terrible logo placement. when you do your mask, make sure your vent holes aren't right in the middle of your logo. That was bad on my part. Just gonna go ahead and do the other hole now. Find the edge of it. I'm just gonna cut it around. That was a little bit easier. And there you go. Like I said, terrible logo placement, but that's all right. Maybe I'll replace this another time. So, once we're cleaned up a little bit, we can go ahead and do a few stripes. What I like to do is half the mask, kind of split the mask in half. So what I'm going to do, again, is peel off a little bit, tear off the backing, so you're just left with just a little bit of sticky part. I'm going to start from the chin of the mask this time, and this stuff isn't hard at all. Just continue to peel and stick as you go along. The vinyl is nice and flexible, so you can make curves in the lines as you need to go with the contour of the mask. I'm just going to keep pushing down. You can pull it up if needed. And once we get to a place we want to stop, either take a razor blade or scissors, and we can just go clip. Again, if there's a little bit of excess, you can trim it wherever you need, and peel it up, and there you go. So let's go ahead and continue on with the other side of the mask. If there are little spaces where the vinyl's wanting to come up, we'll take care of that later with the hairdryer. So let's start with another stripe. I'm going to make these overlap a little bit just in case if it gets to the puck and wants to peel or something, it won't be it'll still all be covered up. So you can also pull the vinyl a little bit harder to stretch it. That way it'll stick a little bit better, and you'll be less likely to get bumps. Just gonna peel a little bit more off. One thing I did forget to mention is make sure your mask is nice and clean before you start. I cleaned it a little bit with some Goo Gone. You're going to want to take some rubbing alcohol or alcohol pads and just make sure there's no grease or anything on it so that the vinyl sticks nice to the mask. Make sure there's no sticky stuff either. Yeah, Goo Gone works nicely. Don't use anything too heavy chemicals to get off sticky stuff. But rubbing alcohol works for degreasing or getting the mask nice and clean. So just let it dry for a second. Continue along. And now, let's see. So I've gotten to a little bit of an edge or a corner in the shell of the mask. It's gonna have a real tough time trying to bend it that way. So what I'm gonna do is actually cut it. I cut it this way with a lot of excess, and then what I can do is take a new stripe and overlap it here. So that way it's all covered. Oh. It's all covered, and we can just then trim it afterwards. So I see how I've overlapped it. Now we can just take a razor blade, again nice and sharp, and make the cut real nice and slow, nice and light. No need to press real hard. And that way, you can peel these up, and you're left with a nice corner in the mask, in the stripe. So that pretty much leaves it. I'm just going to do a few more to finish this off. A few more stripes. Let's do a couple of green stripes this time. A lot of times I'll actually kind of trim it before I place it down, so I see that that one's going to need to, I'm going to want a little bit of angle on this one, so cut the vinyl at an angle, and I can place it in my little corner here. And you can kind of, I find it helps to pull it tight so that you can get, it allows you to turn corners with the vinyl. Just keep stretching it. Stuff's very durable. And just place the line. So we got a nice corner on the side of the mask. I'll find that eventually this will want to bubble up, so what I'll do is just heat it up with the hairdryer a little bit. It'll stretch out the vinyl and it won't come up anymore. Again, I like a little bit of trim in the vinyl. So what I can do is then just makes it look a little bit better if you have it each of the corners cut off where you have a logo or whatever, or a stripe. This one's going to be a little bit tough. Use your other hand to kind of smooth it out while you pull, and should go on nice and easy. This one I think I'll just pull right across and then trim it afterwards. And take a razor blade. You will find over time of doing this what works, what the vinyl does, likes not what the vinyl does and doesn't do. I will say, oops, I got a crack in my mask. I would avoid putting any heavy vinyl on the front of the mask here, because it's very hard, especially on a Bauer mask, to get over the forehead ridges. Other than that, actually, looks like another trim to do down here. Just like that. If you have a chin logo, go ahead and you can take off if it's a small logo, take off the whole backing to it, stick it just to the center so it's nice and centered to where you want it, and then smoothing it out as you go across the sides. Make sure you put lots of pressure on there. Don't try and just press the whole thing down at once. Smooth it out from side to side. Other than that, it's pretty simple. Thanks everybody for watching.